Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and keep watching.
Somebody lied to her several times and told her that she was fly, hot, and sexy and beautiful.
So today I'm going to be talking about my journey into the tech industry. So a bit about me. I don't have a degree and I also have a very creative background. So I come from a marketing and PR background. Previously to my current job, I was actually working in the film industry. So how did I go from film and TV to software engineering? So I didn't actually go to university. I don't actually have a degree. I went straight into the working world and I just wanted to explore my options. I was working in the film industry, I was doing a lot of creative jobs, and I would come across UX, UI designs, front-end developing, and part of that was because I was working with a lot of different digital teams, and on top of that, I just kind of wanted to break away from entry-level roles or intern roles. So I was exploring my options. I was applying for jobs that are a bit higher up than junior level, and I would come across things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, WordPress developing. And I figured, okay, maybe if I start applying for these kinds of roles, I can move up the ladder because I was tired of feeling stuck. So I did that, and obviously I needed to explore these skills. So I would go and do my research, I would go and watch YouTube videos. The more I looked into it, the more I wanted to explore the tech industry and maybe make a switch. I was also very interested in UX and UI design, and at that time I felt like if it wasn't front-end developing that I could potentially switch into, it could possibly be UX or UI design, because at the time I felt like that probably suited my profile, that probably was the best transition from marketing to UX and UI design. That's basically what I had in mind. So I'm doing some research, I'm going to all these networking events. Networking is one of the best ways to get insight into an industry and actually get feedback from people that work there. So I was always going to these events, I was networking with people, I was, trying to understand what they do. And, a lot of these tech events, there's people doing all sorts of roles. And I was just exploring while still doing my job as a marketing and PR assistant. While I was doing my research, I was coming across boot camps, coding boot camps. Coding boot camps are very expensive, and I couldn't afford it at the time, so that was already out of the picture. So I felt like, okay, what's another way to get into the tech industry that doesn't involve boot camps that are like over £10,000, So I was just exploring, I was just keeping my options open while still taking jobs as a marketing and PR assistant. And then I was starting to connect with people on social media that were in the tech industry. So I would tweet a lot about wanting to learn how to code because it was something that I was genuinely interested in picking up as a skill. So I'm here tweeting about coding, and someone literally retweeted a link to a bootcamp. So Code First Girls and BT teamed up to deliver a 4-month intensive course that was available for women from all sorts of backgrounds, and the whole aim was to train some women how to code and potentially get a job after it. So someone sent that to me and I applied, and I didn't really hear anything for a while. I didn't hear back from the application. Now, fast forward to November 2018, I got a call back and they asked me on the phone, like, why are you interested in learning how to code? What are you doing at the moment to prepare yourself? Or are you doing anything extra outside of work to give you a better understanding of coding? And for me, I just explained, like, I was going to all these networking events, I was going to a lot of tech conventions, I was exploring like YouTube channels like The Future, which is really good if you're into design, if you're into branding, content strategy. And I was also exploring Free Code Camp, which is a really great beginner-friendly site that can help you learn to code. Yeah, I was just explaining that to them. A few days later, I got a call back, and it was literally like a few days before the boot camp was meant to start. So they called me back and they said, oh, we have a spot for you if you want to take it. So obviously I was very excited because I thought, okay, cool, this is how I'm going to get into the tech industry. But the thing is, at that time, there was also another job offer that I had received, and it was for a job that I really wanted. So I was kind of stuck because I felt like, do I take a chance, not work for 4 months, and learn a new skill in an intense environment where, you know, there's potential for me to even get a job in the tech industry, or accept this job offer that I really wanted, and it was something that I wanted for a very long time. So it was like, do I play it safe? Do I take a chance? Ultimately, I decided, let me just take a chance and go for the boot camp, because if that didn't work out, I can still go back into marketing. So I did that. It was 4 months, and guys, that learning curve, oh my God, that learning curve, yeah, it was hard. Coding was like a lot for me. It's not a skill that clicked for me straight away, and it was such a shock because I'm used to learning things really quickly. I'm used to like someone explaining it to me like once or twice and boom, I got it. But like coding for me just took so long to grasp. It did not come to me very easy. But I learned a lot. Let me break down what the bootcamp roughly looked like. So we did a bit of web development. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We also learned Python, which is a programming language. We touched a little on SQL and cybersecurity. What also happened was after each module, we'd get assessed, and we do have to do a bunch of activities. We have to do a bunch of projects. And when it got to the end of the third module, there were job interviews open to people that had passed the assessment, etc. So we interviewed for a few roles, and if you got it, you could then go on to the last module, which was taught on the job. So the last module was Agile Methodology, and it kind of makes sense to do that on the job because Agile Methodology is something that you apply in terms of your workflow. So yeah, so I did a job interview, and it was for a role that I really wanted. It was a software engineering role. I applied, I got it, and yeah, it was just literally like a complete switch, like new industry, new job, moved out. So it was literally like fresh start. And you know, I really enjoyed the job. I have a very supportive team. Like, one thing that I was really nervous about was, you know, this is a new industry for me. My experience is basically like 4 months of intense coding in a boot camp. I don't have a degree, so I was a bit worried that people look at me like I'm stupid. But for me, it was like I was very eager to learn, and I was very eager to try new things. And yeah, this role kind of suits me very well because you're always trying new things. It's a lot of problem solving, which I like. And a lot of people would think that, you know, when you're learning to code or when you're taking a role that involves a lot of coding, they automatically assume that you can't be creative either. Even though my current role isn't as creative as when I was working in the film industry, I don't feel like it's gone completely the opposite way. I still feel like I can be creative. It's more from a problem solving aspect rather than, oh, we're just working on a new TV series or a short film or a digital campaign. It's just, I'm using my creativity in different ways now, which I quite like. And yeah, that's basically a summary of my journey. Is there anything I wish I could have done differently? Yes. I would say if you are someone that's exploring boot camps, like really assess why you're trying to get into that boot camp. I feel like there's so many ways to get into the tech industry. Like my way of getting into the tech industry isn't very conventional. Like I don't have a degree. Coding, computer science was not something that was taught to me at school. It wasn't even a subject that existed. Like the closest I've ever come to coding is MySpace, literally. So it's not something that I was taught at school. I did not do it at GCSE level. I did not do it for my A levels. Like my A levels were all like written humanities, social sciences subjects. So yeah, like there's so many ways to get in. As long as you're determined and you're willing to learn and you're willing to put yourself out there and you network with people, then you should be good. So I also created a Google Doc with a breakdown of my current job as a software engineer, all the languages that I use, the frameworks that I use, and alongside that, I've attached resources to help you learn the things that I use at work. And they're all free resources. So I'm going to link that in the description box below. Yeah, I would really appreciate your support. I'm trying my hardest to make my content as accessible as possible because I feel like that should be the standard, but my resources are very limited. I literally film on my phone, I edit on my phone, I subtitle on my phone. When I get JEPHTA to translate my videos, he sends it to me via WeTransfer and I save it on my phone and I sync the BSL on my phone. Yeah, I publish on my phone as well. Like I do everything with very little resources. I've got a link if you would like to support me and help me like save up for like proper equipment. So yeah, I would really appreciate if you guys can just check out a lot of the information that I will leave in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.